Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory podcast here on YouTube with Will and Tad. Here in the month of January, uh, right in the middle of the bloody winter, if you guys can't tell with my sinuses. So I apologize for that in advance. But here we are in the middle of the winter time, Tad, doing what we love to do, which is talk about all 32 teams in the league, except only eight of them are alive now here in the what would you consider week 20? We'll call this week 20. Last week was week 19, so now we're going into week 20 of the NFL season, or going into the divisional round, if you will, however you want to see it. But yeah, I was very happy with Tad this wild card weekend that we got to experience all 3 days of it. A bit of a weird vibe of an ending to the Monday night game, but nonetheless, those of you who were watching the Monday night football game between the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston did emerge victorious in this game, Tad, 30-6. But us watchers of the uh, Manning cast on ESPN2, which Tad and I follow very closely. Those two are very inspirational to us and what we do here on the Gridiron Glory. Yeah, Tad. I mean, obviously the Manning cast was great. You had some great guests and everything on there and everything like that. JJ Swat, Big Ben. Um, I'm trying to remember the other guest. But anyways, it was a good Manning cast season finale. So shout out to those two. Those two are always fun, always bringing the childhood vibes around. But yeah, regardless, Tad, I mean, we knew that the Texans defense was going to be amazingly good. I mean, they have been amazingly good all season long. And I mean, it was 7-6 at halftime, and you're thinking, man, this game could really go, any kind of way. But then you get 23 unanswered points by the Houston offense in the fourth quarter. And I guess just, well, first of all, I would like to personally ask you, where would you rank Woody Marks amongst running backs in these playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, his playoff debut went very well. He got the job done, had some big plays, had some just plays where he just kept the momentum going in a forward direction, and that's really all they needed. He did good, and he ranks probably top half at this point.
To me, the best player in this football game by far had to have been, of course, Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. I mean, the three catches for 39 yards, easily the best receiver in this wide receiver room in this entire game. And of course, I kid because, yes, Tad is an Iowa fan and he just loves Jaden Higgins. He also specifically loves Jalen Knoll and what the stat line he got was in the receiving. I mean, Tad's a huge fan of that. But no, in all seriousness, number 13, Christian Kirk, eight catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. Tad, like Christian Kirk was just going out there and like making big play after big play and getting up the field. I mean, the yards after the catch, I'm sure was pretty dang good. I mean, he even had like, that 46-yard long catch, nine targets. Normally, I was kind of expecting probably more so to be like more of like an Xavier Hutchinson or a I was of all the receivers in the receiving
Yeah.
room, I was expecting Nico Collins to have like a breakout game, but no, I mean, this is the playoffs and this is the NFL, and any given game, anybody can step up. And Christian Kirk, I mean, now forever in Houston Texans history has this playoff glory.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the defense was heavily focused on stopping Nico Collins, and they did a fine job there, but then they kind of just had to forget about Christian Kirk some, and that's why he was allowed to do what he did. So big day there. He took advantage of a big opportunity. Yeah, the Texans offense, they just moved the ball a lot better once they stopped targeting Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson, then they just moved the ball a lot better. So when those three are not involved in the offense, it goes a lot better. Of course, I kid to an extent, but yeah, just a really weird game for The Texans offense, I mean, you have, of course, the five fumbles by CJ Stroud. That's a factor. He has to be better on the ball control. But at the end of the day, he does more than enough to win the game. Next week against the Patriots, he'll have to be a lot cleaner with the ball if he wants to give his team a chance. But as long as you have a defense like this, you're going to have a chance in any game. And I mean, boy, was the defense quite outstanding today. Big plays by Kalen Bullock on the pick six, Sheldon Rankins, the big guy touchdown. You just love to see plays like that. I mean, this is a defense that legitimately could carry Houston all the way to the Super Bowl.
I mean,
They're
even
that
guys
good.
like Jalen Petre, Aziz Al-Shire, Kamari Lassiter, Togiai. I mean, these guys were just like making life an absolute living hell for Aaron Rodgers in that pocket. Like there was no sustained pocket during
Mm-mm.
this football game at all, Tad. I mean, Aaron Rodgers just really couldn't get much of anything going. I mean, getting sacked four times, that should speak volumes for how that went in there. But even then, the 17 to 33 passing, only 146 yards, the quarterback rating of 14.3. You really do hate to see that. He was bragging last week about getting DK Metcalf back, but hey, DK only got two catches for 42 yards. So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and just like completely poop on, the Steelers offense, but the Texans defense made life an absolute living hell for Aaron
Mhm.
Rodgers in the pocket. I mean, that's just the absolute truth with that. And I mean, if Houston is to win the AFC, it will be because of this elite defense. And I'm just I'm blown away by it. D'Amico Ryans is an incredible head coach. I mean, Tad, for the third year in a row now, the Houston Texans will make a divisional round appearance for the first third straight year. Real quick, where would you just really, really quick, where would you rank D'Amico Ryans amongst current active head coaches?
I mean, just think back to before he was hired and before CJ Stroud was on the team. And think of what we thought of the Houston Texans at that point. They were an afterthought, a pushover. Like they were considered to be like where teams like the Raiders and the Jets are now. They were considered to be that bad, and now we're coming to, as you say, three straight playoff appearances, wins in the playoffs. Obviously, you want to take the next step and win another game, get to your first conference championship game. They haven't gotten that step done just yet, but what D'Amico Ryan has done to the culture in Houston is simply incredible. I mean, you'd have to say he is certainly approaching elite status as a coach. I'd say top 10 at this point. It would be hard to argue against top 10 status.
Yes, yes, I love your assessment of Mr. Ryan's there and everything, and hopefully his continued success can continue against the New England Patriots on the road next Sunday. I would also ask to like you amongst all-time NFL head coaches, Tad. At the time of the recording of this episode, we have received the report that Mike Tomlin has decided to step down as the Steelers head coach. Tad, the Steelers have only had three NFL head coaches. Yeah, I mean, quite literally NFL head coaches. Sure, why not, right? I mean, they've
Mm.
only had three of them since 1970. And so now you're here. Now we're in this predicament. This could have been the last game we ever saw from Aaron Rodgers. That's just a side note. Real quick,
Mhm.
where do you rank Mike Tomlin amongst all time NFL head coaches? Me personally, I mean, there's no doubt like my ranking of Mike Tomlin is, I mean, always, I mean, you remember the Super Bowl title, you remember the Santonio Holmes catch in the end zone against, the Arizona Cardinals and everything like that. You remember a big moment like that. So, Mike Tomlin got to be a part of that, winning seasons and all of his seasons there in Pittsburgh. I mean, everything he brought to the city, everything he brought to the culture of Pittsburgh and what it stands for. I mean, that football team is quite literally the heartbeat of Pittsburgh. I mean, and its citizens. So everything he brought to that town, getting hired on at the age of 35, and everything he achieved and accomplished there. I think Mike Tomlin should walk away from this with his head held very high, and I would have to rank him easily a Hall of Fame level head coach in history.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Tomlin had a very successful career by just about every measure you could do. I mean, winning the Super Bowl, that's no easy feat for any coach. And he accomplished that. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a mainstay in the playoffs, had some very strong eras during the Tomlin coaching regime. Obviously Ben Roethlisberger, when they had guys like Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Um, I feel like if that group of three players would have made one more sustained run into the playoffs, I would be willing to talk about Mike Tomlin at a much higher level. I feel like he needed one more sustained playoff run to get onto like Hall of Fame tier in my eyes. I don't think he's there, in my opinion. I think he needed one more great playoff run. That's just my take on the situation, my read. But no question, he built a very strong culture in Pittsburgh. Had some interesting times towards the end where obviously the fans grew very tired of not being able to take the next step. But at the end of the day, I think if you take a wider look at things in his time in Pittsburgh, there's no question that it was a big success.
I mean, yeah, you might have wanted to see another Super Bowl or two out of that, but I mean, yeah, you mentioned it before. Winning the Super Bowl is extremely difficult,
Yeah.
and I mean, I get it, and perhaps Mike Tomlin just kind of maybe felt like that this wasn't for him anymore. Maybe he wanted to go try something different in his life. I'm not sure exactly why. I mean, uh, something tells me that, I mean, maybe like the Steelers maybe allowed him to step down. Um, I don't know if the Steelers necessarily wanted to keep, like, there's just so many unanswered questions and
Mhm.
gray areas there with that. But I mean, it's like as far as like his leadership and everything, like I've just seeing like lots of different moments. Like he, you know, took so many players under his wing, and
Mhm.
was a very uplifting head coach. Who took his job very seriously, game in and game out. I mean, is he, at the level of, I don't know, Bill Belichick? Maybe not, but
Mhm.
I mean, he showed up every day and he did his job, and was that always a success? No. It's hard to win in this league. Um,
Mhm.
and it's hard to put teams together. And the fact that he had never once one losing season with how hard it is to win in the NFL, that says something.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If you have your fan base in a position where they're literally bored of winning, then I think that says something about where your franchise is. And I mean, Pittsburgh is an incredibly um resilient franchise that has done some good seasons. Can they take the next step? It's going to be really interesting to see what they do next. There's a lot of questions now for Pittsburgh, a lot of potential changes.
And what's up next for Houston is a big game at the New England Patriots. So um, that's going to be very exciting to see. Yeah, let's move on to our next match. We got the uh, we got the Chargers and the Patriots. Yeah, so the Patriots won this game 16-3. Drake May versus Justin Herbert. Tad, the biggest thing that stood out to you more than anything was just how banged up this Chargers offensive line was.
For sure. Yeah, the offensive line, I mean, you knew it was going to be difficult for the Chargers to do much of anything with the offensive line in the state that they were in. Um, They could not establish any semblance of a real run game. Only 12 rushing attempts aside from Herbert. Herbert had 10 rushing attempts on his own, but from the running backs, only 12 attempts. Just a crazy situation there with all the like what the way they tried to win. I mean, it was going to be tough. They held tough. I mean, their defense deserves a lot of respect for keeping them in the game as long as they did. It was 9-3 going into the fourth quarter, and it ended up only being a two-score game. So just respect there for the Chargers. They gave it their all. They just didn't have the bodies to go on the road and win a game like this in a situation like that.
No, no, they didn't. Just like it was a very much a defensive battle to me, like in the first half. And I gotta say, Andy Borogalis did an outstanding job of out-dueling Cameron Dicker in this game. I mean, Cameron Dicker, probably one of the better kickers in the league. Um, some people may or may not have a screenshot of me making a typo saying something else, which I'm sure was lit meme content for that one person. And it's nobody on this podcast particularly, but yeah, Andy Borregales. I
Hmm.
mean, he's reliable. He's always been a reliable kicker, Dad. I remember talking about him in the preseason, just how consistent and reliable he's been. And obviously, moments like this are to be remembered in the playoffs when you're able to help your team in a very tough situation. I mean, I don't want to sit here and just completely poop on the Chargers. This game was a lot closer than the score appeared to be. But Justin Herbert just could not get anything going because of his banged up offensive line. And I mean, just and even for it being a banged up offensive line, like I get that you're playing with three backups here, but even then you've got to step up, you've got to perform better on that offensive line in the NFL playoffs, backup or not. You know, so I guess if I'm the Chargers, like you really got to work on that offensive line. um, because this was just an unacceptable performance for your fans. This was an unacceptable performance for your front office, for your quarterback, for your head coach. Just, I mean, this everything that could go wrong for the Chargers kind of did. So, yeah, but for the Patriots, they took full advantage of it. And I mean, I was kind of expecting Drake May to get cooking a little bit later in this game, or a little bit earlier than what he did, but yeah, that Hunter Henry touchdown at the end, I was kind of thinking, I mean, the 7 play, 80-yard drive, they took their time, they made good plays, they made good reads. They were sure to use up a good amount of clock. You wanted to use up a good amount of clock in that situations, and they did. And Drake May put together an outstanding drive on that fourth quarter go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I for the most part was not all that impressed by the Patriots offense. A lot of that, like I said, credit should be given to the Chargers defense. They have an outstanding defensive unit and they played very well, but
Yes.
I did expect to see a lot more out of the Patriots. Well, maybe I don't know if I want to say I expected it, but I was interested what we would see from the Patriots offense, and it was an odd game for them. Like you said, especially early on. Drake May did not have the best start to his playoff career early on in the game, but it was nice to see him rebound well later in the game. Like you said, leading that drive, he also had a very big run that was kind of a momentum shifter where he had that 37-yard run towards the middle of the game. So Drake May definitely took advantage of his athleticism. He took advantage of the situations he was in. So anytime you can win a game in the playoffs like that in your first career playoff start, really good to see. Yeah, it's probably good for the Patriots that they got to see such a strong defense with the Chargers because they're going to see another strong defense next week, like we said with Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be incredibly tough. I mean, but that should be a fun game, and we'll get into that here in some moments. But yeah, just a very disappointing ending to the season for the LA Chargers today, Tad. But the New England Patriots, they advance, and Drake May lives to see another week in the NFL season. So shout out to the Patriots for executing. Execution is important. You don't want to let games get away from you, especially in the playoffs. And while I was about to say San Diego, while the LA defense, Tad, um, came out here and I mean, yes, gave Drake May an absolute run for his money. Um, really, the demise in this entire game was, in fact, the Chargers' offense and their inability to get anything going, while their defense did keep them in this game.
Yeah, certainly it was the offense. I mean, that was unquestionably the problem. And really, I don't put a whole lot of stock into that long term just because of the state of their offensive line. We've never really gotten to see the best version of the Chargers this year ever since Rashawn Slater was injured very early in the season. Then just Joe Alt, and then the hits just kept coming for that
Omarion
offensive line.
Hampton.
Yeah, Hampton too as the running back. He only had one carry. I mean, he did whatever he could to get back for the game, but obviously they didn't feel good enough about him to use him very much. So just we did not get to see the best version of the Chargers. Some say there's a lot of scrutiny around like Justin Herbert and what the offense looks like, especially in the playoffs. Justin Herbert getting into a I don't want to say a later stage of his career, but he's definitely like more of a veteran quarterback at this point than he was like several years ago. And for all the accolades and stats he's put up, he hasn't won a playoff game yet in his career. And I know people want to talk about that, and that is certainly a valid talking point. But I don't want to put this year too much on Justin Herbert, just considering the state of his offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, we never did see the best version of the Chargers. I mean, we studied them in the preseason, and I mean, we they certainly had a strong case to even win the AFC West. And who's to say that they couldn't have won the AFC West if they were, at their like absolute best. So, it's just really, really, really tough to say what kind of way that could have gone. So just you really do just like hate to see it in every sense when it came to the Los Angeles Chargers. My God. Yeah. Yeah, Tad. So our next game that we will talk about, um the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, Brock Purdy Brock Purdy, I mean, he wins, and listen, I love when Brock Purdy just wins at any moment at any given time. I'm sure you love it just as much as I do, but you gotta love playoff wins a little bit better. I mean, a Brock Purdy, not just a win, but a Brock Purdy playoff win, where he is now, yeah, 5-2 in the NFL playoffs as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I want to really make sure that the Iowa Hawkeyes fan knows that. Anyways, yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, this was a really good game. You even thought at one point when the Eagles had the 19-17 lead, you know, you were just thinking like, wow, is Brock Purdy going to be able to pull off some more greatness? But yeah, specifically the second play from scrimmage, Tad, the second play from scrimmage, uh, specifically talking about that with, let's see, I want to say it was Jennings. Yeah, the one catch for 45 yards, specifically that moment, the very second play from scrimmage. I would like to know your specific thoughts, your specific emotions, your specific feelings about Brock Purdy making an outstanding 45-yard throw to ultimately get that 49ers offense engine going.
Yeah, I was really wondering when the Philly defense would show up. I mean, I knew that if Philly was going to have a chance to win, their defense was going to have to play a phenomenal game because I did not trust the Eagles' offense going into that game. And I mean, they only scored the one touchdown. So I knew that they wouldn't want to be getting into a shootout where they were chasing points for most of the game. And I mean, I was very disappointed from the secondary play by the Eagles. I mean, you have two all pros in your secondary with Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell, two incredible players, but it was not firing on all cylinders early on. I mean, and Brock Purdy took advantage of it, like you said. I mean, he did what he did, the big throw to Jennings. And yeah, I mean, the way that they just executed for most of the game. And I mean, it's not like the Eagles defense did nothing. They warmed up and they got going early on. You had the big pair of interceptions by Quinion Mitchell. So I mean, it's not like they did nothing the entire game, but they let the 49ers set the tone early and late in the game. And I mean, just a very impressive performance by the offense. Like we said, Purdy had a solid game. McCaffrey had a big game receiving, six catches for 66 yards and two touchdowns. Kyle Juszczyk had a couple of big plays too. That 27-yard gain to Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, that was a huge momentum building play. And the
Yes.
way he kind of took over, more of like an H back type of role after George Kittle left with his injury, and took on more of a receiving load after that. The way they were able to further execute, that was an impressive display by the offense.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. And I'm very sorry, I'm very sorry about your boy George Kittle. Um, Rumor has it he finished that entire bottle of tequila by the end of the game,
Yeah.
so I'm sure that balanced him out there. But no, in all seriousness, he would have loved to have been on the field with his teammates. So, you always hate to see, and I mean, he's battled injuries time and time again throughout his career, George Kittle. So, but yeah, specifically, yes, Dad, I would like to ask you, where would you rank Jawan Jennings amongst wide receivers that can throw the football?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for the San Francisco 49ers, they finally found someone on the roster that can properly throw a football. I mean, that was very nice to see with that touchdown he got out there to McCaffrey. You do love to see that. So I think there needs to be a real talk about who should be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. And if I were to have a ranking of the best passers of the football on the depth chart, I mean, I would have Juwan Jennings first, obviously, followed by Mac Jones, and then maybe we can start looking at a few other names, guys like, I don't know, I bet Christian McCaffrey could throw a football pretty well. Maybe Kyle Juszczyk, I don't know, but I mean, to
George
be able
Kittle,
to
even.
execute a trick play like that in the playoffs, I mean, that's what the OC dreams about, stuff like that. So just to be able to draw up a perfect play and see the execution there, that's thing of dreams for an offense.
Oh, it's a moment that none of those guys will ever forget for the rest of their lives. I mean, yeah, I mean, way better. I mean, you could even argue that that play was better than the Philly special in the Super Bowl back in 2017, and that play was up there. Um, I mean, but yeah, San Francisco, I mean, they were getting after it. They were really getting after it. I mean, they were shutting Jalen Hurts down. There was a lot of, there was a lot of punting. I mean, yeah, four punts. Yeah, Philly punted the ball four different times. So, as opposed to San Francisco's three. So, that adds up. I mean, the more defensive putaways that you can put up. I mean, that goes a long way in football games, especially in the playoffs. But I mean, Dallas Goddard did a really good job of keeping his team in this game, especially with those touchdowns. Saquon was being Saquon. Obviously, you might have liked to see a touchdown there. Obviously, it isn't football without at least one Jalen Hurts touchdown. So there was that. But yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, I mean, two interceptions, that's what you go out there and you draft him for. So, that was incredible to see. It's just listen, it's the playoffs, right? It's everything matters. Everything comes like and football is a game of inches, you know? So just the 49ers were able to make the plays. You would like to think that that very trick play that we're talking about probably could have been like very much was like the game-winning play. You could argue that if it wasn't for that trick play, who knows where the 49ers would have been in this game. But in the playoffs, you got to find a way to win any way that you can on the road, nonetheless. And I mean, this just goes to show that a fully healthy Brock Purdy can beat the Eagles on the road, as we unfortunately saw in the NFC Championship, back in 2022 when he got injured and missed out on a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So Brock Purdy now, I mean, the chronicles of Brock Purdy to me are super hype. Some people on this podcast may think they're not as hype as they would like to hype up, say, the Bryce Young chronicles a little bit more. And speaking of the Bryce Young chronicles, did you have any other final thoughts on
Yes,
49ers Eagles?
yes, I certainly did. I did want a chance to give some of my takes on the Philadelphia Eagles. I haven't really said a lot about them, but I do want to say the offense was disappointing in the second half, and that is a large portion of the reason why they did decide to let go of their offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. So that will be a big mission for the Eagles to fix up their offense. And we will get into that in the offseason content and stuff, but just they had a solid defense and they had a real chance to make a run. And with the way their offense performed, I mean, it just didn't get the job done. So for the Eagles, a lot to look back at. And the defending champion goes home, so we'll have a new champion this year.
Yep, the new champion this year. It's not going to be the Chiefs. It's not going to be the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So, and shout out to the San Francisco 49ers, by the way. I mean, you want to talk about a rich and storied historic franchise. I mean, one of the franchises, I want to say they have the most play. I don't know if I'm incorrect or not, but I know that they're way up there in playoff wins of all time. So I mean that just and I mean obviously the multiple Super Bowls that they already have and multiple Super Bowl appearances. I mean the San Francisco 49ers just kudos to them as a franchise for always being consistent, always being competitive, always putting together good teams, always drafting elite quarterbacks that can play and be leaders of their offenses, i.e. Joe Montana, i.e. Jimmy Garoppolo, i.e. Brock Purdy. So, yeah, shout out to the
Well, we
49ers for always drafting great quarterbacks.
didn't draft Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, shout out to them for getting Jimmy Garoppolo when they did. So, yes, Tad, the 49ers have always had outstanding Colin Kaepernick, even Colin Kaepernick, Super Bowl run. I mean, say what you want about him, but he was a part of their franchise history. So, yeah, a very competitive franchise though is the San Francisco 49ers. They prove it once again, and they'll get the chance to prove it again next week against their division rivals. We'll kind of get into that we'll kind of like look at the divisional games at the end of the episode, but we'll kind of like we'll make our picks. We'll make our picks and we'll make our quick predictions and picks on those. But yeah, the Bryce Young Chronicles, we were talking about that and everything. The LA Rams and the Carolina Panthers had going into this game, the LA Rams were obviously very heavy favorites. And I mean, we knew that they were probably going to put about we knew that they were going to get into the 30s on the scoreboard. So we said that Bryce Young was going to have to go out there and play the absolute game of his lifetime. Did he do that? I would like to think so. I mean, the stat chart won't show you that. 21 of 40, one touchdown, two sacks. Chuba Hubbard, again, Chuba Hubbard always doing his thing. The two touchdowns, even including the go-ahead touchdown. And Bryce Young, his first ever career playoff touchdown was insane. What were your thoughts? What were your emotions? when Bryce Young got his first ever playoff touchdown and everything that he's been through and we have discussed about him in these years.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very exciting time for the Panthers. And they talk about like the future of Bryce Young and all that, and how they do want to give him that fifth year option year. So a very interesting situation there. Then immediately you fall behind 14 to nothing after the first quarter. I'm sorry, early in the second quarter you fall behind 14 to 0. And then he leads that touchdown drive. Chuba got that touchdown, and then later in the half, I mean, after you get a big stop, your defense stops the Rams on fourth down, and then Bryce Young goes 5 plays, 81 yards in a bit of a hurry up situation to get that big touchdown at the end of the half, cut the lead to just three. At that point, you do have a lot of momentum. Bryce Young was making big plays there, some deep passes. Jalen Coker deserves a lot of credit for the way he played. Another undrafted receiver there that is turning into a very high level wide receiver too. He was hurt for part of the year early in the season, but he's been coming on strong. 9 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown. Folks, the Carolina Panthers have some offensive weapons. I mean, if you really get down into it, you can see that this offense has the opportunity to make some plays. I mean, Titaroa McMillan, their wide receiver, won over 100, I'm sorry, over 1,000 yards in his rookie season. 5 catches for 81 yards in his playoff debut. This is an offense that has some sneakily good weapons that a lot of people just don't think about. I mean, you said what Chuba does, you know what he can do. Rico Dowdle has some momentum. I mean, I'm obviously I've been high on Carolina for a bit lately, and I do think they have a chance to have a big year next year. Obviously, not enough to take down the Rams, who had a great drive there at the end to rip the game out of the hearts of the Panthers after Bryce Young's go-ahead drive in the fourth quarter. I mean, this was a phenomenal game to start off the NFL playoffs. Just very high level. The 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, all the lead changes. Just a lot of teams playing high level football this weekend, and this was a great opener.
Oh, it really was. I mean, you know, and on that last drive, I mean, the Rams were even, like they were talking to each other, and the
Mhm.
report was that they were like, let's go snatch their hearts out, and
Yeah,
they did
Travis said
exactly
that, I
that,
think. Yeah.
and you respect it. You respect the cold bloodedness there.
Oh
You
yeah.
respect the cold blood. Like that was so cold blooded, of like ice in the veins of Matthew Stafford. John Matthew Stafford, which is actually, if you didn't know, that's his first name. I recently learned this. Born February 7th of 1988. By the way, so his birthday is coming up. So this was an early birthday present for him. um, yes, yes, and don't call him anything else, folks. His name is Matthew Stafford specifically. Don't dare call him anything else. Some people may or may not like that. But yes, yeah, Kyron Williams as well, the 13 carries for 57 yards. Kyron Williams, though, is reliable. Puka Nakua, is reliable. Colby Parkinson, like, where do you rank Colby Parkinson amongst beasts, but specifically tight ends?
I mean, he had that one great touchdown catch. That was a big play there late in the game to sort of help be the one to snatch it out of the hearts of the Carolina fans. So a big play there. Yeah, he's certainly coming on as a high level tight end. This Rams offense has a lot of weapons as well, and they have a lot of veteran weapons that know how to go and know how to win big games. Devontae Adams is an example. Kyron Williams, obviously Matthew Stafford. You know what he is. I mean, he came out of the gates very hot, completing what I think it was his first 8 passes. Then in the middle of the game, it was sort of a rough stretch for him. Where J.C. Horn was making plays before he got hurt. Mike Jackson had a huge game for the Panthers defense, but in the fourth quarter, Matthew Stafford put all of that behind him and just went out and slung the ball like it was nothing else. I mean, just the way they go out and execute, just very good football. The Rams, I mean, I think at this point they have a really good chance to get out of the NFC. I know it was a dogfight against Carolina. That was a tough one, but they went out and they did what they do.
But very specifically, what were your thoughts, feelings, and emotions when Kobe Durant got that interception? That was a big time play on defense.
Yeah, I was really questioning some of the route running by the Panthers receivers at that moment. I mean, obviously it could have a better read by Bryce Young himself as well, but there was some real questionable decision making there on the routes by the Panthers receivers. Just not good communication. And that's going to happen sometimes with a younger team in your first playoff environment, but those are the kind of plays that you need to iron out if you want to get a big upset like that.
Yeah, for sure. And quick little backstory. The reason I found out his name was John Matthew Stafford is because Tad and I text each other during these games. I was, a while back he was calling Philip Rivers Philly Ribs, so then I kind of turned it into a bit to try to come up with other alternate names for quarterbacks. And then I was like, oh, Matty Staffy. He's then like, I don't know who that is, and I mean, I kind of wore out the bit. So then I decided to be a smartass and call him John Matthew Stafford, and that was a funny thing. Yeah, I had a good a little bit of fun with it while it lasted. But apparently the bit only works for Philip Rivers, so we know that now. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next game. Green Bay, Chicago. I mean, yeah. How do you blow a 21-3 lead? I mean, that's absolutely insane to me. But I mean, specifically, Colston Loveland has everything that it takes to be the next Travis Kelsey. I mean, the Colston Loveland is an exciting tight end to watch. He's absolutely incredible. I mean, the 137 yards in this game, Tad. I mean, you go out here, you win in the playoffs. And I mean, if Colston Loveland gets a Super Bowl ring this year, I mean, he'll make a strong case to be that, to be what Travis Kelsey is today. And I mean, Colston Loveland is, to me, he's going to be the next best tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, I do find that to be a fairly stunning take on my part. And we do have some bold takes here at the Gridiron Glory, which is very good to see. You do love to see the respect there. Um, I don't see it that way myself. Colston Loveland is a very high level talent, and he could continue to grow. I think he has potential to be a top 10 level tight end, maybe in a good year, a top five level tight end. But I feel like that's a lot of burden to put on a young player there to compare him to the great Travis Kelsey. I mean, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Oh. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with him aspiring to be to that level. That's certainly what you want to do. You want to grow and you want to have big goals. Just that is a lot to live up to. He had a great playoff debut. And also a Super Bowl ring is a very ambitious goal for this Bears team. Um, I don't know if they have it in them to go that far. We will see. It will be a very interesting challenge when they take on those LA Rams that we just talked about. But for the time being, I mean, they're riding high. They have their first big playoff win in quite some time against that team that my shirt says they're a one-star team. And I think that is a very fair representation of what we saw, especially in that fourth quarter from the Green Bay Packers. I mean, it was a tale of two parts of the game for sure, with the Packers dominating early on. Their offense couldn't be stopped. Jordan Love had a stellar game, 24 of 46, four touchdown, 323, just moving the ball. But then like at halftime, the Bears defense just flipped a switch, and then eventually, it took a while, but eventually the offense caught on and joined the party. So just a very entertaining game, an entertaining comeback in the fourth quarter. And I mean, it's definitely a lot for Chicago to be proud of. To beat the team that's been the proverbial boogeyman team against them for the past what 2 decades. I mean, where basically like Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers
that's a great
walking
way of putting it.
you've had Aaron Rodgers walking into your building saying he owns the city, doing like championship belt, whatever celebration he wants, and now this is regardless of how things turn out, this is a big moment for them to sort of fight back in the rivalry. It starts when you beat them in the regular season to win the division, and now you've doubled up on it in the playoffs. So maybe this is a proverbial shift in the rivalry. Will that be long lasting? I don't know, but a big moment there for the Bears and their fans for sure.
I mean, this is easily like, beating like there's only one better like obviously every team wants to win the Super Bowl. But the next best thing, if you're the Chicago Bears and their franchise and their fan base and their players, if you don't win the Super Bowl, the next best thing that you can absolutely do is beat the Green Bay Packers in the
Yeah.
playoffs at home, at Soldier Field, in front of your home. Like, Tad, I knew that the Bears were going to win this game. I mean, this was the first home playoff game at Soldier Field in over a decade. And I mean, I was so impressed. I mean, obviously that 4th and 8 play where Caleb Williams threw that off balance throw, finds Roma
Mhm.
Dunze. Some people may or may not have given me rift about trading Roma Dunze in fantasy earlier in the year. So when I kind of felt, moments like that make me feel. I, I don't want to sit there here and say I regret the trade because Jamison Williams has done great, but it's moments like that where I wonder if I made a good decision or not. I mean, it was a big trade. I but yeah, Roma Doomsday with that catch, I was just like, wow, that's absolutely insane. And then obviously the DJ Moore touchdown, which was the game-winning play. Like that play, that moment, it had to have just been like the stake in the heart of Packers fans. Like, okay, like this was a dream for the Bears fans and a horrendous nightmare for the Packers fans. Like, long story short.
Yeah, I mean, you got that moment. You got and at that point, the Packers still had a minute 43 left to go, rip it out of the hearts of the Bears. And I mean, they did what they could. They drive the ball down the field, but at the end, I mean, it's the Bears that somehow get the stop. They get a fumble recovery late in the game. Obviously, it was in a bit of a desperation play there where Jordan Love was just trying to make something happen, and he ends up fumbling there. But just very tough situation, very difficult way to end the game, end your season. And you just have a lot of questions with how things could have gone for the Packers. If they would have still had Micah Parsons healthy, so that is factor um a big factor in this game. Very hard to get a pass rush on a mobile quarterback like Caleb Williams. That's probably his biggest strength in my opinion, his mobility, his ability to make plays on the run. Um, Having Micah Parsons would have been huge. So hopefully he can get healthy and have an impact in the future. But his the loss of his presence was definitely felt on that field in Chicago.
Whose presence was felt was Matthew Golden, the rookie out of Texas, right?
Yeah.
Matthew Golden, the rookie out of Texas, finally being used and finally being like utilized to some great potential here in this game too. So perhaps this was, just the kind of game that Matthew Golden himself needed to transcend into that next level next season. So shout out to Matthew Golden, shout out to Romeo Dowds, Jaden Reed, even who is on my fantasy team, and hopefully he can play a fully healthy season next year as well. who I made a big trade for with someone on this very podcast, even. You want to talk about a big trade, man? Did
Mhm.
I? You won that trade of this season, like this specific season. You won that trade,
Mhm.
but for the long term picture, we still have to see who's going to win that trade. But yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
you're the one that paid off from that trade this
I
season.
mean, I won it this season because the best two players that you got ended up getting injured. I mean, that's kind of just the risk of fantasy sometimes. But yeah, I think it'll end up looking a lot more even as things go on. But for now, it was better for me this year, but we'll see how it goes. One last quick note on this game in particular. One big thing that swung the game was the effectiveness of the kicking games, with Cairo Santos going 3 for 3 on his field goals, 2 for 2 on his PATs. Brandon Mismanis, 0 for 2 on field goals, 3 for 4 PATs. A really rough game there for him. We know he's a very accomplished kicker. He can get the job done in the clutch, but it didn't work out for some reason on that field in Chicago.
I mean, Brandon McManus certainly passed his prime. Definitely not the kicker he once was, say back in the Denver Broncos Super Bowl days. But yeah, um, yeah, I personally wouldn't call him names and stuff and all that. I mean, I have a high level of respect for Brandon McManus. Yeah, I mean, he had a bad game. There's no denying that. You got to go out there. You got to play better as an NFL kicker. I mean, you did make three. I mean, even the 3 of 4. I mean, like I said, I mean, he's definitely not. I mean, he's getting up there in his veteran status and everything. So just not the game that you wanted to have, and
Mm.
you would like to think that this could have been a better game. And hopefully, you got to go out and you got to kick better next season. So if just hopefully he can learn from this. And obviously, he's not. Again, the biggest thing is he's not the same kicker he once was back in Denver. So, but I will never sit here and call him names and stuff like that because he's a Super Bowl winning kicker and he had a bad game today, Tad. Which you hated to see.
You certainly do. And like I said, he's had an incredible career. I mean, there's no taking away what he's done in his career.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon McManus, yeah, just yeah, like you said. Um, so that was that Bears Packers. We only got one more to talk about: Buffalo and Jacksonville. Yeah, yeah, let's get into it. You had Josh Allen versus Trevor Lawrence. It's not as fun, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence just for you, Tad. Is his? I mean, it is in fact his name. But yeah, 18 of 30, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yeah, what was your take when Josh Hines Allen sacked Josh Allen?
I
Well,
mean,
like,
a very befuddling moment, just a very confusing moment in this league, and that's what there's always a risk that that could happen when these two teams square up on the field. But I mean, yeah, Josh Allen, he's not an easy guy to sack, and Josh Hines Allen is a guy that is known for getting some sacks. So I mean, that is the only sack of the ball game as well for Jacksonville. So big moment
and
there. Maybe could have swung
Josh
the momentum.
and Josh Hines Allen actually used to just be like go by Josh Allen, but he specifically changed well, I mean that was his name was Josh Hines Allen, but he made it known that that's what he wants to go by out of respect for number 17 of Buffalo, Josh Allen. So, and obviously you don't want that to be like getting confused and everything. And not only that, like you want your own identity in that sense, Mr. Josh Hines
Sure.
Allen. Like he didn't want to be in Josh Allen's shadow. So, there's that factor as well. But no, seriously, Tad, this was a quarterback duel. This was a fun game. I mean, it was back and forth. ETN going out there making big plays, Bayshaw Tootin, Parker Washington, and Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Etienne all had receiving touchdowns. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, there was a point in this game where Duval County, Florida was absolutely ecstatic. It was off the chain. Like, they went out there and I mean, they gave the Buffalo Bills an absolute run for their money. And but on that final drive, Josh Allen, I mean, literally, like, you feel like that the reason that the Bills won this game was because of Josh Allen at the end. And Khalil Shakir Khalil Shakir was out there. He was making big time plays, big time moments. Brandon Cooks to me, the stat chart won't show it, but Brandon Cooks to me was just like, oh my God, Brandon Cooks. Like Brandon Cooks is out here just making like big time plays. Like, and that's a name that like we don't hear of too often, but like no, he's out here like just like making these big time catches and creating these big time moments, even in three catches for 58 yards. It kind of just like you're watching this game and it felt like it was a lot more than that, but I certainly felt like he was a very exciting player in this football game. Um, so yeah, there was that. Matt Prater. I mean, you want to talk about Denver old time kickers? I mean, Matt Prater. Like there is. See, there was one former Denver kicker in these playoffs that did. I mean, Matt Prater at the age of it's had Matt Prater in his 19th season at the age of 41. Matt Prater, we pray to you, brother. We pray to you, Matt Prater. Yeah, 2 of 2 for field goals, 100%, 50 yards long tack. Still doing it at the age of 41. Where would you rank Matt Prater amongst kickers over the age of 40?
I mean, you'd probably have to put him high in that tier. I mean, amongst 40-year-old plus kickers. I mean, he certainly executed and he's had some big kicks for Buffalo throughout the year. Obviously, you think back all the way back to week one with that game-winning field goal against Baltimore. And I mean, he's just been fairly reliable. So great way for him to continue a solid career. He's had an incredible career he's had, I should say. And a way to him to give a boost to this Buffalo team that may need some big kicks in a postseason run if they want to get to where they've been trying to get to for the past, well, for obviously for their entire franchise history, but like specifically in this era with Josh Allen and the success they've had. They want to go all the way, and they may need some more big moments out of Matt Prater if they want to continue to extend their postseason journey.
Yes, yes, very much so. I thought it was just a great game and everything like that. It was very fun to watch. It was very exciting. Um, like I don't know. Yeah, Tad, what was your thoughts on, the Buffalo Bills were one of the teams in the offseason that voted to ban the tush push. And then on that fourth and short play, they use it to ultimately save their season. Kind of a double-edged sword kind of moment there, huh?
Um, I mean, it's a play that was voted by the NFL to be a legal play, and Buffalo executed the play. I think it's just a fine moment. I mean, maybe they think it shouldn't be a play, but the other teams voted that it was. So if you can't beat them, join them, I guess. I mean, no reason to not be able to execute a play. If there is going to be talk to like continue to ban it, if that talk continues, maybe they'll support it, maybe they won't after maybe their intents have changed with seeing how it's helped them, or maybe they still don't see it as a play that should be run. I don't know. But anyways, the way the rules are written, they took full advantage of the rules and they executed the play. I just felt like as soon as Buffalo got the ball down by four late in the game, you knew they were going to get the touchdown. There was really never a doubt that Josh Allen would do what needs to be done to get his team down that field, get his team in that end zone. To me, at that point, the real question was, could Jacksonville answer back? And get down the field, get at the very least a field goal. Obviously, didn't work out that way. The interception on the first play of the drive, and I mean, a very disappointing way to end a very strong season for Jacksonville. They had that big winning streak at the end of the year, ended by the Buffalo Bills. So this was a game between two teams that were, in my opinion, good enough to win the Super Bowl. I mean, this was a very high level game. And at this point, I mean, Buffalo is definitely a big threat to go all the way. Um, Josh Allen playing at an incredible level, an MVP level. Um, can you get enough out of your receivers? Can you get enough stops out of your defense? That's really the only question for Buffalo. But you just got to know that if the game is close late, you can count on Josh Allen to give you the plays that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. After the game, I mean, an incredible game. Congratulations to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they were my pre-playoff Super Bowl pick, so they proved my point in this game, and they're gonna prove my point against my Denver Broncos on Saturday. But yeah, Lynn Jones of the Jacksonville Free Press after the game, Tad said some very, very beautiful, sentimental things to Liam Cohen in the press conference, kind of, out of the status quo, out of the norm, telling him to keep his head up, praised his magnificent season. Um, and of course, when somebody does something out of the norm and says something so beautiful and compassionate, very beautifully thought out and said, you got guys like Adam Schefter and other, critics out there that just, I mean, you hated to see like the criticism of that moment. Personally, we here on the Gridiron Glory thought it was absolutely beautiful what Lynn Jones of
Yeah.
the Jacksonville Free Press said to Liam Cohen. So shout out
Yeah.
to her. Shout out to her. I
Oh,
wanted to give her
man.
that personal shout out. I think that that was beautiful.
Yeah, certainly some of the commentary around that by some national reporters, some more local reporters, just people making comments about what she said. I thought it was absolutely embarrassing that they wanted to tear her down for trying to uplift Jacksonville's season. I mean, there just have some like humanity. I mean, the world is in a place where more humanity is always for the better. So I think that the reporters that are just hating on that for no real reason, just look inward and think about like what that just think about what is making you think that positivity is there's no place for positivity. I mean, that's just completely befuddling to me that that's even a conversation. That was a beautiful reply by the reporter. And just with Liam Cohn, I mean, yeah, I don't know why anyone would have any issue with that.
Yeah, yeah. Personally, I don't either, and I thought it was absolutely incredible because I agree with her. I mean,
Yeah,
Jacksonville had an incredible season. They won their division. They finished 13-4. I mean, like this is a franchise that can be sneakily good sometimes, and I mean, this was one of those times. And yeah, obviously, like they want to. The goal is to win the Super Bowl. But winning in the NFL is extremely hard. And I mean, putting up a 13-4 season with some very notable wins, some very notable moments. Probably the most notable one for me, from my perspective, was when they went on the road against the Broncos and freaking owned that game. I mean, Jacksonville, I mean, or when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football, back when the Chiefs, when we thought of them of what they were early in the season. I mean, listen, yeah, I thought it was incredible. And listen, the Jags will be back. They just gotta you just gotta stay loyal, stay resilient, Jags fans, and I mean it'll happen for you one day. Just believe. But if not, hey, it's for the love of the game, right? It's for the love of football. I mean, wearing your team's colors. I mean, Duval County, probably some of the most loyal fans there is in the whole NFL. So I would love to attend an NFL football game in Duval County one day if it presents an opportunity to me. I'd love to see my Broncos there or something like that. I mean, it would be or any game there. I mean, I'm sure it's incredible and just an incredible environment and everything that they bring and represent. Yeah, due to time constraints, we don't necessarily have time to do a full blown preview of these matchups, but we did just get done talking about the wild card matchups. Yeah, so we got Buffalo and Denver, San Francisco, Seattle. I'll give a quick take on those. Yeah, so San Francisco, Seattle on Saturday, then Sunday, Houston, New England at 2, Rams and Bears at 5:30 Central Time. Um, yeah, with Buffalo and Denver, again, Buffalo was my pre-playoff Super Bowl pick. And I'm going to stand on it. They're 1.5 point favorites in this game. So I am on this podcast. I'm going to pick the Bills to win that game. The Bills are going to, in fact, beat the Broncos. And I'll probably stick with that spread too. It'll probably be somewhere around there, like a game-winning field goal, last-minute drive, something like that. I mean, Bo Nix and Josh Allen are gonna duel. San Francisco and Seattle, the rivalry. At least that's what it was once called back in the day. Was the rivalry with Richard Sherman and Colin Kaepernick. Like this playoff game just kind of like gives you like resignations of that era. Russell Wilson, like back when that rivalry was at an all-time high. But now we got a new profound edition of it. So hopefully that can be renewed and everything. But um yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with. I'd have to say Seattle just because they've proven to me that they can win in multiple different types of scenarios, and I don't I just like I know that Brock Purdy's not going to be phased by the hostile environment. I know that they're not going to be phased by anything, but I mean losing Kittle was huge. And not only that, but I just don't see the Seahawks in their first home playoff game in the most hostile environment in the NFL losing this. So I will go Seattle there. Houston and New England. Houston's got the defense. They're going to absolutely just blitz the crap out of Drake May. I don't know if Houston's offensive line has what it takes to hold up with this Houston front seven. I mean, is it going to be a pretty win by the Houston Texans? No, it won't be. It'll be a very nasty, ugly, gritty type win, but they'll win because of defense. I'm going to go Houston. And I'll say they probably win by a field goal. And Seattle, they'll win by a touchdown. Um, Rams and Bears, man, this has probably got to be like the best one out of the four. I mean, man, I mean, you want to talk about some receiver rooms, you want to talk about quarterback play. I mean, I want to sit here and say that the Rams are the better team and everything like that. You want to sit here and think that. I mean, you got the probably the second best receiver in the league and currently in this playoffs. Like Puka Nacua is absolutely going to be insane. I mean, I know that the Bears got, a great win and everything last week, but I mean, I just feel like that the talent level for the Rams is a lot higher than the Bears. And I don't know. I just think it's all going to become too much. I feel like Matthew Stafford, the veteran, is going to out veteran. He's going to, I don't want to say out veteran, but more like, yeah, just outwit
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, and that will be the difference. I mean, the Rams have the playmakers, they have the receivers, so and they have the defense. I mean, it's going to be a battle. I mean, I could see this going 20, 30, up into the 40s even potentially perhaps, but I think the Rams will pull it out and I think they'll only win by like I'll say anywhere from like I'll say I'll give final score prediction on that one. I don't know, like 35, 32. It's going to be a
Yeah.
very weird game. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that the difference in this game is gonna be Puka Nacua. So I'll go Rams. So NFC Championship, I got Rams and Seahawks. Ooh, and boy, is that gonna be an excellent trilogy. to this season, the Rams versus the Seahawks. I really want to see that matchup because the last time those two teams played each other was insane. And then I'll go Bills Texans in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up agreeing with you on 3 out of 4 picks. Um, I do agree with the Seattle San Francisco takes. I just think that, um I just think that um the defensive front seven for the 49ers is a very good matchup for Sam Darnold. I mean, when he struggles, it's against heavy pressure, and San Francisco, quite frankly, just doesn't have that due to a lot of their injuries. So I think Sam Darnold could have a comfortable game. And I do think they'll win. I don't think it'll be an easy win. Like you said, I think it'll be a tight game throughout, a one-score victory for Seattle. Um, I agree with you on Houston beating New England, which might be a big surprise. That's some might view that as an upset, but I just trust this Houston defense so much, and I feel like that's going to be a lot for Drake May to handle in his second career playoff game. And maybe he proves us wrong. Maybe he goes out and has an MVP caliber game. And if he did, he'll certainly have earned it. I mean, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley in the defensive backfield. I mean, we talked about a lot of other guys in the recap of the game. I think it's just going to be a big moment there. If the Houston offense can do a better job of holding on to the ball, then I think they'll win. I'll say put it around like a 20-13 type of score for Houston. And I do also kind of agree in the Rams Chicago game, but like not really because I don't think the game is going to be particularly close. I think the Rams are going to win fairly comfortably. Um, what we saw with the front seven for the Packers against the Bears, we are not going to see that strong of a we are going to see a much stronger, I should say, front seven for the Rams, and I think they're going to have a great job keeping um Caleb Williams maintained a bit under control. So I think that they will win by 2 touchdowns. And the only difference in opinion I have is I think Denver will beat Buffalo. I'll go out and say it. I think they get what could be viewed as a minor upset. And I mean, I just trust this defense. I trust the secondary. I think Pat Surtain Jr. will have a big interception there, and I think that could certainly be a swing play in the game. Um, I just don't think I can trust the Bills' offensive players to create enough separation. It'll be a great game. If it comes down to whether or not Josh Allen can make a play, the Bills will win. We've seen that too many times, but I trust Denver's defense to make enough stops. I trust Bo Nix to make some plays there. Um, Cortland Sutton, a very good offensive line. I think we can have a lot of good ball control by Denver. And if Bo Nix can make the plays, I think they have a chance. So I'll take um, Denver, let's call it 24-16.
I also trust James Cook the third to make big
Mhm.
plays and big runs. So I appreciate your confidence in us, Tad, and a lot of people have the confidence in my Broncos and everything. But like, I mean, we've said like in the past two preseasons of us studying these teams, what do the Bills need to do to win the Super Bowl? What do the Bills need to do to win the Super Bowl? You know, and we the answer was always the same. They need to figure out a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They if they can just beat the Chiefs, they're gonna win the AFC, win the Super Bowl. You know, we've said it for over 2+ years now, and here they are. The Chiefs are not even in their blockade. I don't like if Josh Allen was like freaking so close to getting to the Super Bowl and he just needed to beat Patrick Mahomes to do it and wasn't able to do it a season ago, He's
Hmm.
not going to let Bo Nix. He's not going to let C.J. Stroud. He's not going to let Drake May. Are you telling me that Josh Allen is going to let Drake May, C.J. Stroud, or Bo Nix get in his bloody damn way of winning the AFC Championship? No. Now, when we start getting into the Super Bowl itself, I mean, maybe Matthew Stafford, maybe, Caleb. I highly doubt Caleb Williams. I highly doubt Sam Darnold. I highly doubt Brock Purdy. I mean, really, the only one that could probably truly contest him would be Matthew Stafford. But, I mean, other than this is Josh Allen's Lombardi trophy for the
Yeah,
taking. So,
it feels that way. It does feel that way to an extent.
like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I get it that football is a team sport and it's not all about the quarterback and everything like that. But I mean, it does play a massive role. I mean, there's a reason that the MVP of the NFL has been a quarterback for I don't know how many years. I mean, this is the reigning NFL MVP. Yeah, do you think he's content with that? Do you
No.
think he's content with just being an NFL MVP? F no, he's
No.
not. So I love your confidence in us. And I want to be, listen, I want to be that confident in my beloved Denver Broncos. I want to be the same level of confident that you are. I really, really do. But the facts are facts. The Bills have been
Yeah.
the Bills and who they've been for the last 3 seasons. I don't think they're going to let the fact that they're a 6 seed stop them. They could play anywhere in the world. Like you tell them to go play a game in Germany, London, England. It doesn't matter. They're going to be ready to. They are so hungry, hungrier than my Broncos could ever be, than any of these other teams could ever be. So,
Mhm.
can I get proven wrong? Absolutely, I can get
Sure.
proven wrong, and I hope I do, Tad. I hope that my beloved Broncos that I've loved since I was a child prove me wrong. I hope for that. I hope for that. It would break my heart for Josh Allen. I will say, if the Broncos win, my heart will be broken for Josh Allen. It really would be. So there's going to be a lot of emotions riding on this Broncos and Bills game for me personally because I love my Broncos and I am not going to be mad or upset if we win. I will be so happy. It'll be great, but my heart will in fact break for Josh Allen. And so I can't sit here and say that I would be ecstatic if we won, but if the Bills win, I mean, I'm going to be happy for them too. Like it's just tough. It's tough, but that's all I have to really say about the divisional round. If you had any other
Yeah.
final thoughts or takes on the divisional round, yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us for more hot, great takes. Be sure to stay tuned to the divisional round, and then join us again for next week. As I mean, like it's so emotional right now. It's going to get even more emotional next week when. I mean, I'm going to be heartbroken either way. I'm going to be heartbroken about my Broncos, or I'm going to be heartbroken for Josh Allen. So find out which one happens watch these damn games. And I don't want to sit here and completely just poop on the other guys that weren't Josh Allen or Matthew Stafford because those young guys, they're coming up. They're coming up. They're making a name for themselves, especially the quarterback for San Francisco, who Tad just loves. So, yes, yes, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more great hot content. This is the Gridiron Glory, two hardworking guys covering the NFL by night.